Hey everybody. Hey, it's Shanice here. Just gonna give some time for everybody to come on. It's about to be noon. I'm here in Georgia, and we're gonna be joined today with Meira. Meira's gonna join us at noon, and just want to have a conversation with her. So come on in. She should be joining us real soon, and I'm really excited about that. How are you all doing today? I'm out here in Georgia, so that's exciting. Hello, hi. Oh, here she comes. Hello, everybody joining us. We're going to be talking live this morning with Meira. How are y'all doing today? Hello, I'm a special needs siblings team with 4 siblings who. Hello. Well, hi. It's nice to meet you, iconic all-star Jackie. We're just getting the connection, so hopefully she'll be on here soon. Thank you for joining us today. Hello. Hey. Hi, Coach Dan. Let me see. Let me see if I can add her on.
Hi.
Ah, yay! It worked. How are you
Yeah.
today?
Good.
Awesome, awesome. Well, I'm really glad you're able to join us. I'm glad you wrote me earlier this past weekend.
Same. Yeah.
Yes, yes. So I just want you to go ahead and introduce yourself to everybody and tell us all who you are and where you're at, because I know you're at 7 o'clock there where you're at, right? Because it's 12.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you've already had a full day.
Yes.
So go ahead.
Hi, my name is Meira. I am 19 years old. I live in Israel. I am a special needs sibling. I have a younger brother with Down syndrome and 3 older typical siblings. Um, I currently am working as part of my national service. I am working in a preschool for kids with autism as a ABA therapist. Um, and yeah, so I just finished a day of work and now I'm right now in my apartment.
And you're honored with us. So I appreciate you joining. Well, I guess we can just hop right in. This is going to be a simple conversation, and I know that we've chatted before, but I want to let people in on, I know this pandemic and how this is going, and our lives are not quite what they were. So
Yeah.
if you know, like, how was it in Israel? How was that for you all?
Right. So Israel in general with the pandemic, we had around a 2.5 month lockdown, full lockdown. Um, and by the beginning of May, I think we had a few thousand cases and around 280 deaths for and so Israel started opening up. It was anyway the plan after the spring holidays to reopen at least special ed and other high schools, elementary schools, all at different stages.
Okay.
Um, so special ed being the fact that it was very important to get kids back into a routine. We were the first to open up, which was very scary. Um, it's and so I have been back in my routine at work for about 2 months now. I've
Okay.
been back at work.
How was that?
Yeah.
Like, what changed? What new things you all are implementing that you weren't doing probably before?
First of all, we are at our preschool, and all the therapists. We're a small preschool, but we have around, I want to say, 20 staff members at any given day. We're a lot of therapists in a pretty small space, which is in of itself very scary. We try to be masked. You'll see alcohol gel just everywhere. So much more times that you're just washing your hands constantly. In the beginning, when we first started opening up, we had something called capsules. We just separated the children into groups. At first it was groups of 3, now we're in capsules of groups of 8.
Okay.
We have 2 groups of 8. So it's hard. Things have gotten more intense with the responsibility that will fall on the therapist's shoulders. It's very intense. There's always that underlying fear of like, what to do if I have to go into quarantine, what to do if I end up testing positive at any given point. So it is very, very hard.
Yeah. I can imagine that.
Yeah.
Gosh, we're in a transition period where our kids haven't went back to school. We're like in a summer break. So America, everybody's kind of trying to figure out, do we go back to school? Do we do it in like phases? How do we do this? And a lot of places in Georgia where I'm personally located is taking like this virtual approach. And that wasn't, that can be good and bad. It depends on the person. It depends on your access to digital tools and things like that. So I know people want to get out and they want to, be around each other. There's nothing like having that physical presence, seeing people. Do you have any tips that you could share? Like, what would you suggest to a sibling, like family? I mean, as we're trying to evaluate whether should we send our kids back or not. I don't know. I'm just kind of always curious because you guys are our session.
Right. So one thing I will say is one of the scarier phases in the transition period is definitely that phase where you're just honestly overthinking everything. You're thinking and you're thinking of different scenarios, and it's very scary. I was there before I had to go back to work. I was at a point where, because I'm doing my national service, I don't really have a say whether I go back to work or not. I can't just say, I won't come to work and you could dock my pay. It doesn't work that way. So it was just this, I understand the period that you guys are in now of the overthinking, what to do, and I will say, once you make a decision, whatever decision you make, there will be a sense of relief.
Okay.
When I made the decision to go back to work, I had a sense of relief. It was terrifying going on a bus for the first time, I will say that.
I can imagine.
It was very scary.
Was it different?
You get used to it.
Are the buses different? Are they spaced out or are people just wearing masks?
So right now it's everyone's wearing masks. In the beginning of opening up, there was a limit of 20 people per bus. So you were just also terrified of, I might come to my bus stop on time, but they might just not let me on.
Wow.
So, and you're very aware of all of a sudden, are there windows open on my bus? How close am I to strangers on the bus? You're just aware of different surroundings. I will say one thing I did before I went back to work. When school started reopening, it was very scary, and I unfortunately have someone who is slightly at risk in my immediate family. So part of the decision to go back, I decided to wait 2 weeks. Wait 2 weeks that my preschool would be open, get like the feel of how to work with this new normal, and then go back to routine, and then reassess after the 2 weeks.
Okay.
Are we comfortable? Have the numbers risen? What's going on?
Okay.
So yeah.
That's really helpful. Thank you. Thank you for sharing with us. I really appreciate it. And as a therapist and in the position, the roles that you're playing and that you're working on. Now, taking it back a little bit, tell us about growing up and tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I was,
I have a teen on here, so I know that being a sibling by itself, yeah, just talk to us a little bit about that, your experience.
I was born in New Jersey, and my family moved to Israel when I was 3. And my little brother was born around 3 years later. All my older siblings, they're all married. They all have their own families, their own kids. So for most of my life growing up, it was really just me and my little brother, whose name is Yisrael. It was really just me and Yisrael growing up in the same household. Um, and he is my whole world, honestly. I was the when he would have when he has dyspraxia. So a lot of times when he was younger, he would try to say something, and just it got to the point that because I was there, it was always like me and him. I was his translator. It was We have this very strong bond. We actually have a very exciting occasion coming up. Because we're Jewish and he's turning 13, so he's celebrating his bar mitzvah
Oh, yeah.
in a week, in which we're not going to have a huge party, obviously, but we are doing something very special that he goes up, he won't be able to read the whole chapter, the whole verse of the Bible.
Okay.
But what he will do, he will say a few blessings, which is basically accepting him as you're an adult, you're a Jewish adult who accepts his responsibilities of being Jewish.
Yeah. That's beautiful. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness. That makes me want to, like, tearing up. Like, you have to tell us that, how that goes. You have to share with us.
Yeah.
Special. So, were there any challenges growing up that you can?
Yes. So I know a lot of siblings of special needs experience the challenges of maybe too much responsibility falling on them or stuff like that. I thank God I had responsibility. I did need to take on responsibility with Israel early on, but I never felt a weight, which I thank God for that. I'm very aware that I am very blessed for the way my parents took in Israel's special needs and the way they always made sure I have the time of day.
Okay.
But there were definitely challenges. There was a huge challenge at one point when I was younger when Yisrael, he has Down syndrome, and obviously children with Down syndrome, they're cute. They have these cute faces. They're very cute. They're funny. They're very attractive to everyone. And it would happen a lot that just people on the street, my friends, different people from different organizations he would be in, would come to me like, oh my gosh, Yisrael is so cute. And me as a preteen, I would always be like, yeah, but he's also bugging me. Like, I would always have this conflict of, I always want to bring on this emotion of everyone's telling me Yisrael's so cute, but can't I just be a little upset at him when he's stealing my phone? Like, you had this feeling of you always had to say, yes, of course, he's so cute, and not just accept, he might just be a little brother sometimes.
Yeah.
And also at points where I would join things for Yisrael's organization, and then I was just Yisrael's sister. I didn't have a name. I was Yisrael's sister.
Yeah.
So that was something I also struggled with.
Okay.
It was, yeah. I'm seeing someone in the comments say right. I'm like, yes. And that's also a struggle. It's a struggle, especially as a teenager. You're trying to find yourself. You're trying to figure out who you are.
Yeah.
And if what most people know you as is just that name, Yisrael's sister, then who am I?
Yeah. Like your own identity, like your own self.
Exactly, exactly.
So
Yeah.
say to a teen that's watching this right now, and how could, I mean, anything you would say to them that might, if they're feeling that type of, that struggle, and you've already,
Yeah.
gotten through that, is there something you tell yourself or to them?
Um, I would say first and foremost, any emotion that you're feeling, any emotion, it could be anger, it could be sadness, it could be confusion, completely 100% justified. You're allowed to feel whatever you want to feel. Ignore people who are telling you you should always be happy, you should always be positive. Don't. You're allowed to feel sad. Even if it's something that in your logical mind, I shouldn't be sad about this. Whatever you're feeling in your heart, you can't change that. And the only way to help get better and move past it is honestly to just say, I'm allowed to feel this right now. And then other ways, and then in the real struggle of how to cope with the struggle would be, first of all, find a group or find people that's you, that they know you as Meira, as whatever your name is, and make sure that they understand, first of all, that they know that and they accept your sibling's disability, and then and just have them as a support group or find a special needs support group. Either way, it's a support group is so important of just people who can either listen to you vent or help you with shared experiences.
I love that. I love that. Thank you. That's so powerful because you connecting with people is such a powerful thing, and being
Mm-hmm.
seen is like so important. What would you say to a parent? I mean, I know you said your parents did a really good job in at balancing all of those things. Um, what did they do well now that you look back? What is it that you can say like, man, I'm really glad they did that specifically, because then that could kind of like give a parent some ideas or some just suggestions on how they're doing things with their children.
So one thing, I don't know if my dad did this proactively as a way to say, Meira, this is our special time together. But as early as I think third grade, my dad and I, and then it went on to like something I would do also with my dad and my mom together was we'd watch a TV show. I wasn't allowed to watch that TV show alone. I had to watch it with my father, and it was a shared experience. It was exciting. Um, it was something that I had with him, and later on, it's also something that I share with my mom. So even that just time of day or that subject that is saved for Meira. That is something that we're putting aside, not for the whole family. This is special. This is our special time with our child. Um, and just different things, noticing, being able to say, and it's okay to say during this, I'm sorry if I'm talking a little slow. There are some things I'm translating in my head from Hebrew to English. Um, so I'm just trying to find the right word is there might be some phases in life where, yes, the reality is that your child with special needs more attention right now. There was this time where my little brother had a bad case of pneumonia. Of course, my parents had to be with him. And then what I will always remember is not remembering that they were with me less. I don't even remember feeling neglected because once that was over, my parents came to me and said, Meira, we know that we weren't with you a lot. Just acknowledging, making sure that the child isn't feeling like I'm all alone with this. Maybe it's only in my head
Yeah.
that, but just even a parent just acknowledging.
Mm.
We know we have been not neglecting, but we know we have been showing less attention to you right now. Just acknowledging that, because a child might be feeling that, and they might be thinking it's all in my head. I can't admit it. My parents are so busy right now with my sibling. But no, they're allowed to just acknowledge we know X has been happening can do a world of difference.
Wow. Thank you. Those are really good tips. That's really great. I'm learning. I just love listening. Just thank you for being so transparent and sharing with us all of this information. And I see people are on here saying the exact same thing. So that's amazing.
They're like making me tear up. The comments are honestly.
It's just so powerful because you don't realize how much your experiences matter and your life experiences. Because I think sometimes it's, just humans, we see other people and they're at some type of level and we are trying to get there, but we don't find the value in the experience that we already have. Like, we all have a story and a truth, and it's so important to share and to just feel that and to own it. So, I mean, the way you express yourself is so beautiful, and I just appreciate you sharing it all with us. Thank you so much. What is
Thank you.
your dream to do? Like, what were you thinking when you were a child growing up, and now that you're working? Did you always know you wanted to be working with children that might have needs or anything like that?
Um, so actually, I the dream job I'd say is actually ironically not in the field of special needs. I would definitely want to stay forever, maybe volunteer at some organization. The honest dream is maybe even foster a child with special needs, but hopefully that can work out. Um, but it was always important for me. I grew up in Israel, and Israel is very accepted that religious girls go and we do national service instead of our army service.
Okay.
And I always knew it was going to be something that had to do with special needs.
Okay.
Um, there were always different organizations, and this field of actually becoming a certified ABA therapist and having a lot of responsibilities in this preschool, it kind of fell into my lap. It was not something I was looking for.
Okay.
I was looking into the field of children who have who are either blind or have issues seeing,
Okay.
and this just fell into my lap, and I am very happy.
Wow.
But what you were saying about connection with kids from very early on, I was really close with kids. I grew up an aunt. I became an aunt when I was 5 years old.
Okay.
And over the years, I have definitely worked again in different camps and organizations for children with special needs.
Okay. So, what is your dream job? Look, if you would it be? What would?
Currently, the dream job is working in forensic science.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. What
Yeah.
forensic science? So tell me a little bit more about what does that mean exactly? What would you be doing?
So from what I understood, it's crime scene investigations. In my ideological point of view, it would be to actually, like, science is something that I'm very good at, and it comes naturally to me. And so I always believed whatever I choose to make money, to have a living with, it should be something that also does good in the world.
Okay.
So that is why I chose forensic science. I see it taking science, something that I'm good at,
Okay.
and that if I'm putting a little bit of religion in it, God gave me as a gift that I'm good at, and doing something good in the world, helping the police, it's important. So that's where it all came from, I'd say.
Awesome. Well, I can't wait to see. I'm sure you'll make an awesome forensic science. Amazing. And if we know anybody that's in forensic science, and I would love to connect. So if you guys are listening and you know people, then we need to get them connected with you so that you guys can have these conversations. Because that's not something I know anything about, but now I'm interested in learning more about it. So thank you for sharing that with me.
My pleasure.
Yeah. Everyone. Oh, I'm just reading some of these comments here. Just talking about connecting and feeling understood. I think that's so powerful. I'm trying to not cry on here listening to you talk.
Yeah, I'm trying not to look at the comments, because if I start looking at them, I'm going to be get very...
So
Yeah.
let's see. So you have your brother's his bar mitzvah coming up. Is there anything else happening for you that's going on between now and the end of the year that you have that you're looking forward to?
Oh gosh. Um, Honestly, like I'm right now in a very routine with my job and I'm enjoying my job. So I just finished a time where like I just finished doing a lot of different things in my life. So I'm kind of in this slow part right now, and next year I'm starting up again in the same place. I'm working in the same place.
Okay,
So
awesome.
I'm excited about.
That's awesome. How was it leaving home? Because I know you said you're in an apartment. How was that?
Oh gosh,
Difficult challenge? Talk to me.
it was difficult. I'd say one of the things that was hardest is realizing that okay, from here on out, my home where I grew up in, I never moved homes except for when I was 3. So the home that I lived in for most of my life, yes, that's where I'll be going to on weekends, but most likely it's never going to be the place where I'm staying and like my 100% permanent home.
Yeah.
Um, so I had to get used to sharing a room. I never shared a room before, and I have roommates. Um, and I had to get used to making, I'd say, adult decisions, different decisions that okay, I can't go and ask my mom to, like, okay, what do you think I could ask her what she thinks I can do.
Right.
But at the end of the day, it's my decision. You definitely feel that responsibility once you leave home. Um, yeah, it was quite a transition. It's helped me grow. I've learned so much from my year so far. Like I've grown, honestly.
That's amazing. Especially like considering this pandemic stuff that's going on and you transition like during all I can't even imagine. So
Yeah,
what do you like to do for fun? Like what is your even before like all of this, things had to shut down for 2 months or 2.5 months. What did you do? Like what was your self-care? What did that look like for you? What do you do?
reading. I'm a bookworm. I'm a huge bookworm. Reading, and if you want to say like self care and really what I use to help decompress, I'd say, is playing piano.
Mm.
Like always on different forms that I'd have to write. What are your hobbies? It would be reading, playing piano, and then playing with my little brother and my nieces and nephews. Like those three are what make me smile.
And what are you reading right now?
Oh gosh, just any book I could get my hands on, especially with the pandemic. I've gone through so many books. Right now, I'm reading this book. It's called Blueprints. Just any books I'll find in the library, I'll read.
Oh, okay, okay. So like you're not stuck on like one particular type of book or
Like it's, I'll read either contemporary or fantasy. Just I'd say reading is my way to kind of leave the world for a bit. So, yeah.
that's so
Um, I just remember when you were asking about the transition of leaving home,
yeah.
um, especially if we're talking about being a special needs sibling. Honestly, one of the things that was hard was leaving Israel. We've been like this since he was born.
Yeah.
Um, and then again with COVID, again, I was home for 2 months, and especially during COVID when my parents were both working, I I spent a lot of time with him, and then to leave again was even harder it was even harder than leaving in September.
Wow.
Yeah,
That-
it was.
Does he
But it's
how does he
yeah.
deal with you being gone? Do you guys FaceTime? Do you do anything like how do you guys keep in contact with each other?
We FaceTime. We FaceTime at least twice a week. Once a week, and we'll call another time, another day. And he gets by knowing, okay, new home is on Sunday, but on Thursday I come home.
Okay.
Like, Yeah.
So he's getting
Um,
in.
yeah, yeah. It was in the beginning though, in September, every time I'd call him and every time I'd come home, he would say, "Okay, you done? No, you new home. You done? No more new home."
Oh,
Um, yeah. So, but we both got into it. Yeah, but it's always a treat. Like it never gets old if I ever get to leave work early and come home a day earlier.
yeah.
It's always such a treat.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's.
Yeah.
I know somebody just asked. I think that's. I think how is he taking you not being home? So you were saying
Right.
a little harder in September. So
Yeah.
same things now that you left again and went back to work, or was it an easier transition this second time for him?
Um, so I think it was a little bit harder just because in the first week that I was back in my apartment, me and my parents, we decided that I wasn't going to come home for the first weekend. We wanted to see, again, 2 weeks, see how things play out with the numbers. And so it went from me being home 2.5 weeks to suddenly I'm not home. No, 2.5 months. I was home with him. We did stuff every day together to suddenly I'm not home anymore for 2 weeks straight. They did come visit on like that first Friday. They came, they visited me, we social distanced. So also another thing that was hard, again, in the beginning, I was definitely cautious and still am cautious of how much I'm exposing my parents to COVID. So it was hard. My instinct is to rush him and give him the biggest hug and kiss I can. And it's hard. A good thing is he is very aware and he understands a lot about the virus.
That's good.
So if I will tell him, Yisrael, I can't hug you right now because of the virus, he'll pout, he'll be upset, but he'll understand.
That's good. That's that communication that you guys have, and that. What other activities
Yeah.
you all do together, you and your brother, that you guys like? That's your thing.
Um, Dancing. Dancing is our thing.
Oh yeah.
Um, we'll either just turn on our Alexa to like the same dances and dance together. We could do it for, honestly, there are times we did it for like an hour. Um, Other times we do Just Dance together. You know, the Just Dance on YouTube? We love it. That's mainly where our fun comes from, but just, yeah, during COVID, one of the things that we would do on weekends when we can't use technology was we build forts together. And that's still our thing. Every weekend he'll be like, okay, Meira, you and me will build forts, right?
That's awesome. Do you make them differently each time, or try and change it up some?
Yeah, we make them differently. They get boring after the first.
That
Yeah.
those are some great suggestions for people if they're at home, and some,
Yeah.
yeah, they're considering, like, some areas are still under lockdown right now, and some people are more they're going through their phases. So I'm always curious what people can do. What can you do at home under quarantine when you don't have a lot of choices and there's no technology? So sports and dancing. Any other suggestions you got in there?
So things he did that was more things he would do with my parents was he'd learn how to ride his bicycle. He was and he'd play basketball. So different things that can be one-on-one with parents outdoors just to breathe. Oh, another thing we did a lot was we do picnics.
Oh,
So it started out, before lockdown got really strict lockdown, we'd find this nice open area anywhere in our um, immediate neighborhood. We'd drive there. We'd usually bring ice cream
okay.
and we just picnic and it would be just fun, get out of the house. When lockdown got a little bit more aggressive, we we would do picnics in our backyard or in our neighbor's backyard sometimes if we really wanted to spice things up.
Okay.
Uh, but that was also a huge constant that we had every day during lockdown.
Awesome. I see that somebody asked about this. I'm
Yeah.
9 years old and I have a brother who sometimes can have meltdowns and can get a little aggressive. It makes me nervous when I get hit. Do you ever get mad at your brother? And how do you
Yeah.
handle it? So, do you have anything to share? No, you can read that.
Um, yeah, I saw it. Reina, I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. I don't know if you heard me beforehand, but the first thing I said, especially with any struggle that it has with any of your siblings, is it's okay to feel whatever you feel. If you feel mad, yes, I get mad at my brother sometimes too. Um, and it's okay to feel mad. Um, what I do get mad at my brother, and then we make up. I honestly sometimes that I'll feel afterwards is I'll feel guilt for getting mad at my brother, which is something I think a lot of siblings will struggle with. Um, so there's definitely that. It's something that any sibling will encounter with any, whether it's a typical sibling or a sibling with special needs. Um, yes, siblings fight, siblings get mad at each other. I honestly, I can say I know what you're going through because my brother isn't aggressive. Um, but I can say that it's justified to get upset, to get mad. Um, and I really like, just so you know, you can please talk to me. Like I said, I don't know how it is to have a sibling who gets aggressive, but it's okay to be sad. It's okay to be sad. And I hope you have friends or family who you feel that you can talk to back at home, because that's important.
Very important. Thank you, Meira, for sharing that. Thank you for asking that question. And
Mhm.
definitely be reaching out to try to connect to you and speaking to your parents and letting them know about things like that, because
Yes, very important.
and a lot of the sibling families like they can deal with that. Um, I didn't have any siblings that had any special needs, but my siblings and I used to fight, and so that happened all our families. So I know that that's something that's worth talking about, and we should be definitely discussing. So thank you for asking that question. And I know it's getting on 12:40. So it's like 7:40 your time. Is there anything else you'd like to share with us today, Meira? I know.
Oh wow. Like if there's any more questions, either from you or from comments, I'd love to answer. I just hope everyone stays safe and is doing okay. Like virtual hugs, honestly.
I know. Oh, oh, you are so welcome. I know they said thank you. And we're
Yeah.
here back on here. So this was so awesome. This is our first time going on here live with anybody. So thank you for being a part of this. Sarah. And we'll definitely want to invite you on again if you're up for it to come have another conversation.
My pleasure. My
Awesome.
pleasure.
So I guess we'll go ahead and say goodbye to everybody. We hope you guys have a great day, night, wherever you're at on the replay and all that good stuff.
All right. Goodbye. Thanks for having me.
Bye.